I'm about to disappear into the woods for the next 3 weeks here at my off-grid cabin. And there's one thing that I want to make sure that is up and running and ready to go. Because if my generator fails, it's going to be a lot less enjoyable up here. A generator is one of those things that you don't think about until you really need it. I've owned my Honda EU2200i for years. And over that time, I've learned that keeping a generator running reliably isn't really about doing anything too complicated. So I am going to show you 7 mistakes that can shorten the life of your generator and what you can do to avoid them. Mistake number 1. Using old gas. Now, the problem is gas does not last forever. Over time, it starts to break down, and when that happens, you can end up with deposits building up inside the fuel system. A clogged carburetor is one of the most common reasons that a generator fails. Now, here in Canada, there is another thing to be aware of. Probably the same in the States. Whatever gas you buy today, whether it's regular, mid-grade, or premium, usually contains up to 10% ethanol. So don't assume that buying the most expensive gas at the gas station is automatically better for your generator. In fact, your owner's manual will usually tell you what octane rating to use. So what do I do? Well, first I try not to store gas longer than I need to. And when I'm storing fuel, I use a fuel stabilizer. So fresh fuel, proper storage, and a little bit of planning tends to prevent a lot of headaches later. This one sounds kind of obvious, but it's probably one of the most common mistakes that people make. It has an engine inside, right? And just like your car, your generator needs regular oil changes. Clean oil protects all of those moving parts inside your engine, but over time, oil breaks down, just like in your car. It takes a minute to get us there, but we do get there. Now, if your generator is brand new, don't forget about the first oil change you do. This is actually one of the most important ones. During the first few hours of operation, the engine is breaking in. During that process, tiny metal particles can end up in the oil. Completely normal, but you don't want those particles circulating around inside your engine longer than necessary. For the EU2200i, Honda recommends changing the oil after the first month or 20 hours of use, whichever comes first. After that, the recommended interval is about every 100 hours or every 6 months. You may have heard about magnetic dipsticks. They have a magnet at the end of the stick that catches the metal particles that are floating in the oil, but they don't replace regular oil changes. Now, little Clever Joe tip here. It is much easier to change the oil when the engine is still warm. The warm oil flows better, it drains faster, and you'll get more of the old oil out of there. Before you drain the oil, Honda recommends turning the fuel filter cap, which is just up here, to off. Doing an oil change is very easy. It only takes a couple of minutes, and it is way cheaper than buying a new generator. Oh, it looks beautiful. Just because something plugs in doesn't mean your generator can safely run it. Yeah, it fits, it's gonna work. A lot of appliances, especially anything with a motor or a compressor in it, think about a fridge, needs a big burst of power just to get started. The EU2200i is rated for 1800 watts of continuous power with a maximum output of 2200 watts for short periods. Personally, I try not to run mine anywhere near the limit. I usually try to keep the load around 1500 watts or less, and that gives the generator some breathing room and it helps avoid running it wide open all of the time. A common use for generators like this is powering a portable power station. This is where a lot of people make a mistake. They connect a larger power station and set it to charge as fast as possible, and the generator is suddenly working at full capacity for sometimes hours at a time. And it may technically be possible within the generator's rating, but that doesn't mean that it's the best way to operate it. know your running watts, know your startup watts, and try not to run right at the maximum output. Use it within its limits and you'll be okay. Okay, mistake number 4, ignoring regular maintenance. Oh, it's a bad idea. Change the oil, check the air filter, inspect the spark plug, and occasionally run your generator. A generator is not a buy it and forget it piece of equipment. Treat it like any other engine, and it's much more likely to take care of you when you need it to. Okay, we got some bees in there. On the Honda EU2200i, cooling air is pulled into the generator through these intake openings. Inside the generator, a fan moves that air across the engine and electrical components. If those air passages get blocked, the generator can't cool itself properly. There's a few simple things you can do to prevent problems. Don't push the generator right up against the wall. Keep leaves, grass, dust, and other debris away from the air intake openings. And during winter, just make sure that snow isn't blocking the airflow. And also, don't forget about your air filter. Checking it is pretty simple. You basically just remove the air filter cover, take out the foam filter, inspect it. A few minutes of maintenance, keeping the airflow clear and keeping the air filter clean can help your generator run cooler and last much longer. People spend a lot of money on a quality generator and then they connect it with an extension cord that isn't designed to handle the amount of power that they're using. For a generator like the Honda EU2200i, a 12 gauge outdoor extension cord is what I would recommend for most situations. If you're running a longer distance, around 100 feet, or if you're pulling close to the generator's maximum output, a 10 gauge cord is a better choice because it helps reduce voltage loss. A lot of generator problems don't happen while you're using the generator. They happen while your generator is sitting in storage. When you're putting away your generator for the season, there's a few things that you want to think about. First off, deal with the fuel. Old gas sitting in the carburetor is one of the biggest reasons generators won't start when you need them. You can add a fuel stabilizer or drain the carburetor before long-term storage. And keep an eye out for the rodents, mice. Now, I've stored my little Honda up here for years, and I've personally never had a mouse problem with it. One of the things that I've done for years is use bounce dryer sheets when storing my equipment over the winter. I put a few around my equipment, including my lawn tractor, and so far it's worked well for me as a deterrent. Okay, little bonus Clever Joe tip here. A lot of people are converting their generators to run on propane or even natural gas. Gas, as we've talked about, can be difficult to store long term. It can go bad over time, and during a major storm or emergency, it may not always be easy to find. This is something that I'd actually like to pick up and try myself because for an off-grid setup, the ability to have multiple fuel sources could be a huge advantage. At the end of the day, generators are actually pretty simple machines. You take care of them and they'll usually take care of you. I'd rather spend a few minutes doing a little maintenance now than spend hundreds replacing a generator later. This is my baby. Yes, it's an expensive generator. It's worth it in my opinion. Now I'd like to hear from you. What's the best generator tip that you've learned over the years? Or maybe there's a mistake that you've made that can help somebody else avoid the same problem. And if you've converted your Honda EU2200i or another generator to run on propane or natural gas, let me know what kit you used and whether you'd recommend it or not. I'd love to hear your experience because that's something I'm thinking about trying myself. I read every single comment. I've picked up a lot of great ideas from you guys. Ready, set, go. 3 weeks in the woods up here at the off-grid cabin. I'm so looking forward to this. If you found something helpful in this video, hit the thumbs up, subscribe would be great. And memberships are now open on YouTube. So if you'd like to hear more of my background music and help support the honeybees, hit the join button. It's less than the cost of a CD. And I'm loading up the cabin jukebox as we speak. I'm gonna head in the cabin now, the generator's working, and we're gonna add another track right now. All right, guys, happy off-gridding. We'll see you in the next one. Cheers.